Good morning and welcome to another session of Kitab. We are gathered here for the launch of Makers of Modern Dalit History by Sudarshan Rambhadran and Guru Prakash Paswan. I, Archana Dalmia, SAS woman of Delhi, is pleased to introduce Prabha Ketan Foundation, a non-profitable trust founded by the late Dr. Prabha Ketan. Based in Kolkata, the foundation promotes performing arts, culture, and literature and collaborates with the caregivers, committed individuals, and like minded institutions to implement cultural, educational, literary, and social welfare programs in and around 35 cities in India and overseas. Over the years, the Foundation's programs and endeavors have been graced by incumbent heads of state and eminent leaders of society. During the pandemic, the Prabha Ketan Foundation has ensured that patrons catch up with their favorite sessions and keep their spirits high. The foundation has successfully organized more than 350 sessions last year during the lockdown. The foundation endeavors to preserve and showcase our rich cultural legacy through various initiatives to further its causes. Today, we have gathered here for Kitab, which is the book launch initiative under the Prabha Ketan Foundation. This session is in collaboration with the Penguin Random House. With the launch of the book Makers of Modern History by Sudarshan Rambhadran and Guru Prakash Paswan, we pay tribute to the great Indian jurist, economist, politician, and social reformer who inspired Dalit Buddhist movement, Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. I'm pleased to welcome the authors and the eminent panelists. The panel consists of our esteemed guests, Mrs. Meera Kumar, former Speaker of Lok Sabha, Mr. Narendra Jadhav, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, and Markand Paranjpe, Director of IIAS Simla. The session will be moderated by Maria Shakil, political editor of News 18. May I request the authors and the panelists to hold the book up for a formal launch and a photo op.
I don't have it with
me. we can wait for the book to reach you. Or should I just, maybe I can give a brief of the authors and then we can do the launch.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's better.
So to give you a brief of the authors, Sudarshan Rambhadran is a writer and a columnist. He is the alumnus of Vivekanand College, University of Madras, the Asian College of Journalism, Chennai. He has worked in various capacities as a deputy director and a senior research fellow at the India Foundation and headed its Center for Public Diplomacy and Soft Power in Chennai. Besides founding the Tamil Nadu Young Thinkers Forum, he has previously worked with the New Indian Express in Chennai and the Department of Information, Government of Gujarat. He has completed the Legislative Fellows Program in Washington, D.C., a professional exchange program organized and run by the U.S. Department of State. Guru Prakash Paswan is one of the national spokesmen of the Bharatiya Janata Party. He is an alumnus of the National Law Institute, University of Bhopal, and the Indian Law Institute, New Delhi. He is an assistant professor of law at Patna University and has submitted his doctoral thesis. He is an advisor of the Dalit Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He was previously a part of the steering committee of the Australian India Youth Dialogue, which is a preeminent track to young leaders dialogue between dialogue between two nations. He has completed the International Visitor Leadership Program, organized and run by the US Department of State. So before we request the audience to sit back and enjoy, Miraji, if you've got the book, then we can do the formal book launch. Have you received the book yet?
No, I have not. Sorry.
No, that's all right. So should we should I just hand it over to Maria?
Maybe we could also play the book video and perhaps come to the launch by then, and if not, start the.
Right.
Let's start the conversation, and
Okay.
the moment the book reaches, then we do the launch.
Sure.
So may I request the audience to sit back and relax and enjoy? And over to you, Maria.
Yes, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. This book, when Guru Prakash, who's a regular feature on my show, he gave me a call and asked me, and I was delighted to do so because today is an important day. And it's the 130th birth anniversary, and he has chosen this day. So I realized, why did Guru write this book? I have gone through certain chapters, and here's my thought on this book before I open the panel for discussion, and I will ask Professor Jadhav, Meera Kumar, and Professor Paranjpe for their thoughts. And of course, I will take the conversation forward with Guru Paswan and Sudarshan. This new book is not an academic exercise. This is about a quest, about two friends whose disagreements, discussions, and thoughts led to this exercise. And this is a book which sets the tone and tenor for what Dalit movement has been in India. Their choice of people that they have chronicled signifies how they have chosen that it begins with isolation, moves to acceptance, and then finally assertion. This is what this book chronicles, and I must congratulate Guru and Sudarshan for this exercise. And it's not an eulogy. Everybody keeps thinking that, why these people have been featured in this book, why only a certain set of people have been featured, and it ends with B.R. Ambedkar, in fact. And that's where Guru is hoping that the sequel will be about. It will be about new, modern Dalit. This is about makers, then it will be about the change makers. So with that opening comment, I'm opening the floor. Professor Naren Jadhav is the first Dalit Vice Chancellor of India. He has published more than 30 books. He is the maker of modern Dalit history as well. Former member of Planning Commission, has several firsts to his credit. Ms. Meera Kumar, someone I've tracked very closely when she was the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Pleasure to see you on this panel, ma'am. She is the first Dalit woman Speaker of India and daughter of Jagjeevan Ram, who was the only Deputy Prime Minister and a successful Defense Minister. We also have Professor Makarand Paranjpe, phenomenal academic thinker, and someone, again, I have followed very closely. So thank you so much, gentlemen, and the only lady on the panel, Meera Kumar. I'm going to begin with you, Professor Jadhav. You find a mention in the introduction as well. In this paragraph, Professor Jadhav, the two authors are saying, one important work is Naren Jadhav's Outcast, a memoir which represents Dalit life in a global space whose boundaries extend beyond the nation. The book has attracted wide critical acclaim all over the world. The book was written by Professor Jadhav when he was in Washington, D.C. for over 4 years. You have seen several Dalit literature. What distinguishes this one from all that you have read so far?
Thank you, Maria ji. First of all, a little correction. I was not the first Vice Chancellor of university in India, not first Dalit Vice Chancellor. And the number of books that I have written is not 30, it is actually 41.
Over
That's
30, I said, sir. That's why.
okay. All right. And 3 languages, Marathi, English, and Hindi. Your question was about my book that has gone worldwide. Is that what you are saying?
My question is that since you find a mention in the introduction itself by
Right.
the 2 authors, and I believe you would have gone through this book, what distinguishes this book from all the Dalit literature that you've read so far?
Okay. Okay. No, Dalit literature is, the 2 kinds. One is a very large number of them are autobiographies. And they have for the first time brought out the life and times and the sufferings of Dalits. And that is a very wide range. The strength of what is called Dalit literature is really the autobiographies. And then there are poems, collection of poems, phenomenal. And then there are few books which are thought-provoking books, which are not autobiographies or biographies. They are also very large range of books is there. But this book, I think, is very important because the idea of this book is excellent. Excellent. I love the idea of the book. I also like the selection of individuals, past, and of course, there is always a feeling that somebody else should have been there. But that apart, I would imagine that among the later day present thought leaders, at least 2 names are conspicuous by absence. One is Chandrabhan Prasad. The second one is Dr. Suraj Yangde, who is doing phenomenal work in Harvard University. I would like to see them also included there. Now, as far as this book is concerned, can I go on or?
Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
The introduction of this book, I liked it very much. Idea is excellent. Introduction is very well researched and it's very, very good. And that would be very useful. Now, but coming to the individual profiles, I went through Ambedkar's profile very closely because that's one of the most important one. And today is Ambedkar Jayanti, and the authors Sudarshan Rambhadran and Guru Prakash Paswan, they have chosen this day to launch the book. So Ambedkar's profile is very, very important. As admitted in the introduction itself, that whatsoever is written or said about Dr. Ambedkar would be inadequate to describe his contribution. Absolutely correct. What I have problem with is this. I have to admit that I'm not satisfied with Dr. Ambedkar's caricature at all. And there are many errors of omission and many errors of commission. Would you like me to elaborate on that?
We'll come to that in just a bit. Let me take opening comments from everybody, and I'm going to come back to you, Professor Jadhav. Ms. Meera Kumar, your father is the second chapter in this book, Babu Jagjeevan Ram, and you find a mention in the concluding chapter, ma'am. And about you, the authors have said, another inspiring story of women-led empowerment is of Meera Kumar, born in Bihar's Ara district. She is the daughter, and it talks about it in a first contest from Uttar Pradesh, Bijnor. She defeated political heavyweights such as Ramvilas Paswan and Mayawati. Your own journey inspires this book as well. And the authors have been very cautious and careful with the idea of proper gender representation too. How important do you think, ma'am, it is to talk about the contribution of women when we talk about Dalit literature?
Let me display the book.
Yes. The books are here. Archana?
Archana,
Sorry.
switch her.
Yeah, can we? So Archana is going to be without a book.
Professor Paranjape.
Thank you so much. We can play the video now.
Then, let me first congratulate Shri Guru Prakash Paswan and Sri Sudarshan Ramabhadran, the two very young, very bright men, highly accomplished. I was just wondering at the English that they've written. I've been a student of English literature. Not a single flaw. Tremendous the way you've been able to express the facts as well as the nuances. More than that, the poignance, the pain, that I congratulate you. Dalit history. Madam, you asked me about women. Yes, Dalit women have not been celebrated. And nobody knows about what they have gone through. Even in modern times, barring a few names, prominent names, no one knows what they're going through. Yes, we know about the men, but what about the women? And by the way, as an aside, I would say that the 19th death anniversary of my mother. From here, I would go to her samadhi. So I was mentioning her because she went through a lot. When she was studying, she wasn't allowed to sit in the dining room. She was in a hostel. She wasn't allowed to sit in the dining room and eat. She had to eat outside on the floor in the portico. And yet she continued with her studies. Look at the onslaught. Look at the humiliation. And look at the determination. This is what Indian Dalit woman is. She has to suffer so much. And she has so much strength. The strength that the men, Dalit men acquire is after all from the mother. So I'm glad you have written this book. I'm glad a lot of writing is being done on Dalits. But on the other hand, I keep wondering, has Dalit become a tag? When they talk of me, they always say Dalit. When they talk of my father, they always say Dalit. When they talk of others, they don't take the name of their caste. They don't say Brahmin leader. Or they don't say Banya speaker. They don't take, that is not the identification. But in our case, this is the identification. This is all we are, eventually. It's a reminder. You may do what you like, you may achieve what you like, but this is what you are. This is your place in the society. Don't forget. I've always thought about it, why it is not going. Because with time, everything changes. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. With time, everything changes. We all change. I'm sure 50 years ago, I wasn't what I am today. Archana ji although looks the same. But everything changes, but this caste system hasn't gone. I used to ask my father, why has this not gone? Everything else has gone. India was a slave to another country for almost 190 years. It has become independent. You fought for social emancipation. You also fought for freedom of India. You were able to get political freedom for India. But why is it that you've not been able to get social emancipation for the society? Why? What is it holding it back? Then he used to tell me, and he has written it also in his Caste Challenge, his book. Says, the roots are in the religion. We believe firmly in the transmigration of soul. हमारी जो आत्मा है ये निकल करके इस शरीर से दूसरे शरीर में चली जाएगी. Transmigration of soul and theory of karma. So the karma that I've done today, in this birth, if it is bad, when my soul goes to another body in the next birth, my karma will make me a Dalit and will make me suffer. And I will take that suffering because I always will feel that this is my karma, the theory of karma. I will always say, this is my karmic debt. Oh, in my previous birth, I've done something wrong for which I'm being punished. I've been made a Dalit, and I have to suffer humiliation. I have to undergo all the atrocities. There has to be injustice. And those who perpetrate the atrocities have no conscience, no qualms, because they also believe in the theory of karma. And they say, yes, this fellow's karma in the previous birth was such that he has to be punished. What is it? It's not my fault. So the theory of karma, the transmigration of soul, is so deep-rooted. I used to have a maidservant. She's no more. A lot of people come to my house for treatment because the AIIMS in Delhi hospitals give better treatment. So I had a little place where they were lodged, and this maid of mine was made responsible for giving them food, whatever they liked. And I used to every day ask her, how is it? She said, there is a very nice Babaji who has come. Babaji in Bihar is a Brahmin. She said, very nice Babaji who has come. He's very nice, but he's not a बढ़िया Babaji. I said, अच्छे बाबाजी हैं, but बढ़िया बाबाजी क्यों नहीं है? क्या कह रही हो? अच्छे तो हैं, उनका स्वभाव बहुत अच्छा है. He has very good nature, very kind. पर बढ़िया नहीं है क्योंकि वो मेरे हाथ का पानी पी लेते हैं. So you see, this mindset that I am inferior because in the previous birth I have done karmas which have made me inferior. This is what makes the caste system. And this is what will not allow the caste system to go. I would want it to go. I would want it to go. I don't want any tag for anyone, not just my question. I don't want any tag. If there be a tag, it should be on your achievements. If there be a tag, it should be on your conduct, on your character, but not the circumstances of your birth. And again, Guru Prakash Ji, such a young man and has run. He has a lot of potential. All my good wishes to you. You should rise higher, write more books. I always keep looking for people who will be revolutionaries. I see the sign of a revolutionary in him. Also, Sudarshan Ji, you have co-authored the book. It's a tremendous book. I'm very, very impressed. Both of you. I get choked. I get choked when I talk of all this. It comes from inside. It's said, it is not just me, it's not Veera Kumar. It's my ancestors, your ancestors, our ancestors. It goes back to thousands of years. That has come down to us and we are talking of it. That's why I get overwhelmed. Be a revolutionary. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I can see the two co-authors completely overwhelmed. Thank you so much for sharing that experience. It means a lot for this panel and all those who are hearing it, for you to say that Dalit is a tag and it's a reality which no matter what you do, no matter what your achievement, you'll be always remembered as first Dalit woman speaker of India. I mean, should I feel that, is that introduction not right? I'm made to think again, should I have introduced you differently? Yes, perhaps yes. Because if that is what we continue the narrative, then we are also propagating the same thought again and again. So thank you so much for your thought, ma'am, on this panel. And thank you again to the authors for overwhelmingly, just making everybody so emotional about a content which has just entered the market. And I'm sure you'll get phenomenal response. Professor Makarand Paranjpe, your thoughts on this book. We are hearing lots of good words here right now.
Yes, I think I was very moved by what Meera ji said. Thank you for that. And Dr. Jadhav, I've been reading for many years. His book is amazing. There's a point where he comes to the Pandharpur temple in that book, which is absolutely stunning. And then there's also something that his daughter has written. I'll come back to those points later. So it's a privilege to be on this panel. I want to pick up on a couple of points that were made earlier. The first of them is, of course, that today is Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar's birth anniversary. It's a day of great pride and joy for all of us. Now, yesterday at IIAS, we had a function. I think for the first time in the history of IIAS, we had a major function to mark this occasion. And in fact, Guru Prakash's father was there, though he was traveling. And I'm going to pick up on that. He said something really important. He says annihilation of caste is not possible, but what we see is an amalgamation of caste. I'll come to that point later, but I want to pick up on something that Meera ji said, which is the religious mentality of Indians, okay? And of course, Dr. Ambedkar was a great rationalist, though he was a deep, should I say, deeply observant Buddhist, and he wrote the Buddha and his Dhamma, a wonderful book based on the Tripitaka. You know, yesterday we had a Rinpoche who blessed us from the K monastery, one of the old monasteries in the Spiti region. And he said, you know what, there's no doubt in my mind that Dr. Ambedkar was a bodhisattva who had come to uplift so many, depressed, downtrodden people. So this is a religious idea, the idea of a bodhisattva who comes for the welfare of others. And I couldn't help remember what Gandhiji said on the Bihar earthquake, 1931. He said, this is a punishment to caste Hindus for the sin of untouchability. This is also a religious idea. And Tagore said, what nonsense. Earthquakes are caused by tectonic plates underneath the earth. Why are you, being so irrational? So what I'm trying to simply highlight is that there is something in our mentality that resists purely rational, this worldly explanations for what happens to us. Now, I'm going to put that on the side for a moment and come to the book. My interest in this book, as others have also said, starts with its authors, who are my young friends. I've followed their achievements for the last 10 years or so. I'm very proud of them. And I'm very conscious of the fact that a new generation of people are coming up from certain communities. We won't call them necessarily Dalits, but there's an embouchement. In other words, I mentioned Professor Jadhav's daughter, who said, you know what, I never grew up with the kind of cross, that my parents or grandparents had to carry. We breathe a freer air. So embourgeoisement means the testimonial narratives of suffering, which characterize a lot of Dalit literature, will also change. And there'll be new ways of identification, new ways of struggle. Suraj Yengde is another example. Now, I want to come back to the question that Meeraji asked, like, why do these tags remain before I come to the book? The tags remain because whether we like it or not, caste identities are also a source of empowerment, mobilization, and we don't want to give them up as long as we can benefit from them, and there are benefits to be accrued, from not just these labels. Labels may give you political benefits, ideological benefits, but there are benefits of affirmative action. So we have to ask, what is the relationship between, say, SC and ST, which are constitutional terms, and the term Dalit? I think this is a question that the book is raising. I remember an article that was written in Network 18. I mentioned that because I think people here are associated with that network. And Dr. Jadhav said, the word Dalit was never used by
Yes.
Dr. Ambedkar. I have that quotation with me. And of course, the book makes a claim that Dr. Ambedkar used the word Dalit many, many times, which is another, I think, a kind of error. But let me tell you why I like this book. I'm going to tell you two things. One thing is that when we look at our great epics in India, Ramayana and Mahabharata, they are also models of narrative. So the Ramayana is an epic where there's one great hero, Sri Ramchandra, and there is an antagonist, Ravan, and then there is the Mahabharata. The thing about Mahabharata, it's polyphonic, it's magnificent, it has many heroes, it has many villains, many in between. So these are two narrative paradigms that we have in India. What these two authors have done is they've got us out of an Ambedkarite monotheism, where there's only one hero, only one figure worthy of worship and reverence. And they've broadened the field of many heroes. Now, plurality for me, plurality is a sign of Indian culture. So when you make the Dalit identity pluralistic and inclusive and bring in many, many heroes, that is something interesting. The second point I want to make, I think Maria says, hurry up, your time is running out. So I'll be very brief. I'm a student of literature, and we always, I remember Edward Said, who said that there are two movements, when you take positions. One is a movement of filiation. Filiation means, where am I born? What is my identity? What is my father's identity? And so on. That is, it's a birth-oriented identification. The other is affiliation. That is, regardless of who am I can identify with a cause, with a group. And in a way, the whole of Marxist praxis was based on the declassing of the bourgeoisie to take up the causes of the revolutionaries. So what you've got in this book is a lot of people who are not traditionally identifiable as Dalits at all. Kabir, we don't know, what his caste exactly is, but he becomes an icon of Dalits. Valmiki, Vyasa. What about Udham Singh? He belonged to the Kamboj community, but he was a Amritdhari Sikh. What is his caste? But he's a revolutionary. He shot Michael O'Dwyer. So a lot of people get included. And of course, some people are not included, like Thakur Harichand, who founded the, Namo Shudras, the Mathuas, which was also an amalgamative movement. It was not only about the former so-called Chandala. So many people joined. Narayana Guru is not here. But we are not going into the politics of inclusion and exclusion. We are looking at the processes of affiliation in order to create an amalgamation of a Dalit identity. And sometimes you might say this is a logical fallacy called back projection. In it was called presentism. Presentism means you take a concept from the present and you put it onto the past. You put it onto a time when it didn't exist. During Vyasa and Valmiki's time, there was no idea for Dalit. Ravidas is in this book. There was no idea for Dalit then. But you do it deliberately in order to create a backstory, like back projection. You create a whole history, and then you can include, next time the book can get Narayana Guru into this, because when he established mandirs, the caste Hindu said, you can't do this. He said, don't worry, I'm establishing a Shudra Shiva. My Shiva is a Shudra. And it's a magnificent movement. They haven't included Raja Challaya, who had a pact, So there are people like that can be included. And I'm sure there'll be Diwan Bahadur Rettamalai Srinivasan as another interesting person I think one can include. But I mean, I want to welcome the book. I want to congratulate the authors. I wish the book does well. Many people should read the book and engage with it, debate with it, because the book is not meant to be, everybody agrees and claps their hands. No, you engage with the book, you challenge the book, you challenge its premises. You can find mistakes in the book. I think that's fine. Thank you.
Professor Paranjpe, thank you so much for your comments and your thoughts on this book. Let me bring the two authors now, Guru Prakash and Sudarshan.
Wait a minute. I was supposed to get a chance to talk. I got the least time of the three speakers, and you said that...
Professor Jadhav, I'm coming back to you. Do you want to continue with this, or should I take the opening comments and I'm going to come back to you? Is that better?
I want to say something now, which I started with. I wanted to congratulate the both authors for a very good job done. I said that the idea is excellent, and I take very well Professor Makaran's point that Dalit identity plurality is the biggest achievement of this book. And the selection of people is good. Some names can be added. And Narayan Guru was mentioned. Introduction is also reasonably good, very well researched. But I must say, as Makaran was saying, let this be debated, criticized, and let it go to other people. When I read Dr. Ambedkar's profile, that has not done even 10% justice to Dr. Ambedkar. There are many errors of omission and commission. I will just quickly narrate that so that in the next edition, the corrections can be made. The profile doesn't capture the multifaceted personality that Dr. Ambedkar was. Different facets could have been mentioned in one paragraph. And there's a list of 12 different dimensions, and I have written extensively about it. It should have been mentioned in one paragraph. There's no mention of Gandhiji and Ambedkar conflict. There is no mention of Pune Pact, which changed the India's electoral history for Dalits. There is no mention of Ambedkar's historic statement that I was born a Hindu, but I'm not going to die a Hindu. There is no mention of the historic conversion. That was the event in the world history where, without any pressure, without any gun, without any appeasement or the monetary incentive, 700,000 people changed their religion from Hinduism to Buddhism following Dr. Ambedkar. This is unparalleled. All that does not come. What is covered is inadequate, that is fine. But what is not pardonable is the grave errors which are there. For example, Dr. Ambedkar was first nominated to the Bombay Legislative Assembly. He was not elected first. First provincial elections took place in 1937 when he was elected to the Bombay Legislative Assembly. But in 1926, he was not elected, he was nominated. One, the first political party that he established was not Scheduled Caste Federation, as the book says. It was Independent Labour Party, which was established in 1936. Then what is the grave error? And this has to be corrected. It pains me as a researcher. On page 147, they give a reference of Outlook, CNN, IBN, History Channel popularity poll that was conducted in 2012. And there, they have actually said that the e-poll was for greatest Indian. And in that poll, outshining, Ambedkar was chosen as the greatest Indian, outshining leaders such as Gandhiji, Nehru, and Patel. This is patently false. This is misappropriation of history. The theme of the poll was greatest Indian after Gandhi. Now, if it was greatest Indian, well, Gandhiji could have been considered. And my feeling is that Ambedkar would have still come on the top. But that apart, the review, what they have said about that e-poll is factually incorrect. Ambedkarji was chosen as the greatest Indian after Gandhi. And the top 5 did not include Mahatma Gandhi because the contest was greatest Indian after Gandhi.
Yes.
So the top 5 were Nehru, Patel, Mother Teresa, Dr. Abdul Kalam, and Dr. Ambedkar, of which Dr. Ambedkar got more than the combined votes of the remaining 4 finalists in the 5. So that has to be correctly represented. I think this is a blunder which will come to haunt you. And for young, bright researchers, not paying enough attention and not doing enough research and making statements like this, which appear on the WhatsApp messages, is not a good start. You have a great potential. You are going to. Guru, in fact, used to work with me when I was a member of Planning Commission. So I'm very confident about the bright future that you have, the great potential you have, but you have to be a lot more careful and you have to well research before you write. Putting it together haphazardly in a quick jiffy, you look at the list of references, it's very short for most of them, not a good start. So please correct the mistakes, and in the next edition, because this book is going to go everywhere. It would be there in the curriculum in India. It would be there in the curricula abroad where there is a lot of interest. So it should not give such an incorrect portrayal of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, on whose Jayanti, 130th birth anniversary, we are celebrating that by releasing this book. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Jadhav. And let me bring in the authors now. And a quick word for all those who are listening to this chat. Guru is from the Dalit community, but Sudarshan is essentially an Iyengar Brahmin from Tamil Nadu. So it's not that both the authors are from the Dalit community, and that brought them together to write this book. That was an important point to mention. And let me bring Guru Paswan now. Guru, I can see the image and the photograph of the current president of India. And we know why you have placed it there. There is a reason behind it. The imagery in these days is important. Let me quote a paragraph from the book and a thought from both of you as to why it finds a mention in the conclusion and why you say it is paid forward. It says, the Hollywood film Paid Forward has the powerful message of premise with promise. One student does so by creating an altruistic domino effect called Paid Forward. It talks about it. The rules are simple. It has to be something big that really helps people. It must be something that can't do for themselves. The benefactor has to aid three other people in need. The inspiring movie comes to mind in view of today's Dalit icons. So what is the new Dalit narrative?
Maria, at the outset, thank you so much. Grateful to Penguin and Prabha Khaitan Foundation for organizing it. And obviously, it's a matter of immense honor and great privilege to have Madam Meera Kumar, who has been a guardian, who has been always there for supporting us, for blessing us, and heartfelt tributes. I mean, I've been told that it's the Jayanti of Swargi Indrani Devi ji, who solidly stood with Babu Jagjeevan Ram. And in fact, even today, when we go to Krishna Menon Marg, where Babuji used to live, we could feel her presence. And that is something which is really powerful. We have with us Dr. Narendra Jadhav, and I've had the privilege of working with Dr. Jadhav in Planning Commission. And I still remember that as one of a young intern, when Dr. Jadhav has done Ambedkar Speaks, which is a collection of his speeches, and Ambedkar Writes, which is the collection of his writings, a phenomenal work done on the life and times of Babasaheb Ambedkar. And as a young researcher, I can proudly say that my name is mentioned there in the acknowledgement, and that shows the greatness of the man who can actually encourage and bless us and
Guru,
hand
I'll
over.
have to stop you for 20 seconds because Miss Meera Kumar has to leave. So thank you so much for your time, ma'am. And we are really honored to have you for this panel discussion. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Guru, you can continue.
Thank you. Yeah. So my assignment with, thank you, ma'am. Dr. Jadhav obviously has been truly educative in many sense, and the fact that he readily agreed to be a part of this discussion, this launch, we were truly honored by your presence, sir. And we have taken a note of each and every point that you have mentioned from page number 147 to that poll as well. And we obviously in the next edition will try to improve and obviously come and personally meet you, get you the book and take notes from your observation. Dr. Paranjape obviously in his language, his books, the towering intellectual which he is, and has been in a number of conversations with both of us, with both me and Sudarshan at his place, at his institution, a number of conversations about religion, faith, spirituality, justice has helped shape our understanding, our outlook, and which is currently, obviously, it's a work in progress. Maria, like you said, that the work which has been done till now and what is going to be the way forward. As someone from the community, as someone from the generation, today obviously we are celebrating the intellectual colossus, again a term given by Dr. Jadhav that Baba Saheb was an intellectual colossus. So, sir, we learn a lot from you every day, a lot of what we have written, a lot of what we imagine, a lot of what we comprehend and what we articulate is much from your available literature, sir. And a fine literature has such a huge ramification. Its implication is immense, and that is why we realize the sort of unfortunate, unintended omissions and commissions that have happened. So the future course of the Dalit imagination, Maria, as you asked, that's something which is very important. It is no longer about reservation. Let me assure you, what the Dalit youngsters think, it is about representation at the crucial decision-making position. No longer the government jobs. It is about why cannot be a Dalit girl or a Dalit boy at a position where Maria Shakil is in today. Why can't a Dalit be an anchor of Epicenter at News 18 in the evening? Why can't a Dalit be a director of Indian Institute of Advanced Studies? So these are some of the questions that are bothering us. Even in the course of the last 7 decades, we have seen there has been no Dalit cabinet secretary till now in the history of our country. Dr. Jadhav can obviously correct me if I'm mistaken, but there has been not a single Dalit cabinet secretary, which is the topmost position of Indian bureaucracy. Not a single Dalit foreign secretary, which is the topmost position of foreign policy. Only one Dalit Chief Justice of India, Justice K.G. Balakrishnan. And we saw how unceremoniously he was removed. So the fact of the matter is that we are not having enough conversations. We are not engaging in some, you're not engaging with the truth. We are just living in those polemics. Still, we need to have some strong, constructive conversation around caste issues. And this is our effort through this book. After underlining and highlighting the importance of these icons and trying to give them a contemporary relevance, taking an inspiration, taking a cue from their life and times from their struggle, we need to take it ahead. We need to take it forward. The fact, and let me admit this, I say this with a lot of caveat. I am the youngest national spokesperson in the history of Bharatiya Janata Party, and from a community.
Yes.
So the fact that people at the top, the fact that people across the leadership, across institutions have now realized it is because of the sacrifice of these individuals. It is because of the sacrifices of Dr. Naren Bhushal. It is the hard work of this generation, my father's generation, Dr. Jadhav's generation, that the society now realizes the importance of having an inclusive structure, having an equitable representation of the structures that matters, media, politics, bureaucracy. So obviously I can speak on and on, but time is of essence here. This is what I have to say, Maria.
Yes, thank you so much for those thoughts, and I'm glad that all the corrections that Professor Jadhav has suggested has been taken in the right way by Guru Paswan, because we look up to you, Dr. Jadhav. I, as a journalist, have had you on the panel, and it's an absolute delight to listen to you. So even right now, it's हम बहुत ही पुराने ज़माने के old world thinker हैं sir. Because Guru and I come from the same state, and my father and Guru's father have had a long association. तो बुजुर्ग लोग या बड़े लोग आज भी रोक करके समझा करके करेक्ट करें, I feel blessed. ये बहुत बड़ी बात है, क्योंकि आपने ये सोचा कि गुरु का पर आपका हक है और आपने हक से समझाया. And I think that is what the beauty of this equation is, more than Professor Jadhav, you have worked with him. I think the assertion and that Guru and the Shishya Parampara is continuing, and that is the positive thing. Sudarshan, Professor Paranjpe and also Dr. Jadhav have talked about some misses, some people who could have. What made you select these people? You have already said that elaborately in the introduction, but could you have considered some people that they are supposed to?
First of all, Maria, thank you so much. I would miss in my duty if we didn't thank Meru Gokhale, who is the editor-in-chief and publisher of Penguin, who believed in us and who has championed this book. I'll just give a brief as to how we started this initiative. In 2016, on the same day, we wrote an article together on Babasaheb Ambedkar. And the organic positive response to that article prompted us to begin writing a series of articles on such subaltern achievers. And we knew that they have been redacted from history and there should be a concerted effort to represent them. We didn't have a list in mind when we started, yes, but what the advice from Dr. Jadhav, Professor Paranjpe has prompted us is there can be a part 2 to the book. So we are going to factor that in, include some of these people, but we want the people to read. For example, we have covered Soyarabai. If you Google search Soyarabai today, there could be someone from the Peshwa kingdom who turns up. No, Soyarabai wasn't, we are not intending to cover her, but she was the wife of Chokamela. Now, Ambedkar in his first book, Dr. Jadhav can correct me if I'm wrong, he dedicated his first book to 3 saints, which was Guru Ravidas, Kabir Das and Chokamela. And we felt that and we found only one book on Chokamela which had references to Soyarabai. So we felt that why not this volume? This will be the only first international volume which will have Soyarabai as a chapter. So likewise, Nandanar, who again Ambedkar dedicated his book to. Now I come from Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has seen several social justice movements, social reform movements. It has produced a Ramanujacharya who accepted a Dalit as his guru. It has seen Subramaniam Bharati who went on the streets and gave Janayu to all Dalits and said that ban the caste system. And yet Nandanar is not remembered in our history, be it the prominent political parties in Tamil Nadu or literary personalities. We have featured Nandanar here in this book. So there has been an effort on our part to feature those who have been redacted. And to answer your question, yes, we will keep this priceless feedback from these stalwarts in mind. And Toyota had a very interesting motto. They said, "Can I?" to their employees. And when the employees asked what it "can I" mean, they said it is continuous and never-ending improvement. This is our first literary nascent contribution on the 130th birth anniversary of Bharat Ratna Ambedkar. From here, we hope to improve and learn, and we will, the positive response that we have got so far is that we should have part 2 to this, in which some of these personalities that they have highlighted will be included. And just a footnote, we have covered Suraj in the introduction, where he's spoken about the importance of land to Dalits.
So I'm opening the floor now for questions to all the listeners who are on this Zoom book release. Please go ahead and ask questions to any of the panelists.
Maria, there's a question from Simhakutti Vartaman. Can you read out the question? I think it's on the
yes,
chat.
I can read it. Yeah. Congratulations to the authors and wishing them success. In Acharang Sutra of the Jains, it says, soul is eternal. In all its births, it has lived in many yoins of all castes, classes, and status. So why in this birth do you feel superior or inferior? So I want to ask the panelists, why do the Dalit leaders not help their rural kin to rectify their karmas in this birth for better births ahead? Same thing goes for other communities to realize their ancestry. Dr. Jadhav, you take that question?
Please repeat the question. I'm actually about to leave because Ambedkar Jayanti, I have 5 programs during the day. But I'll answer this question. Can you please repeat the question?
Yes, there's a question that has been asked which says, soul is eternal in all its birth. It has lived in all castes, classes, and status. So why in this birth do you feel superior or inferior? And this is a quote from Acharang Sutra of the Jains. So I want to ask the panelists, why do the Dalit leaders not help the rural kin to rectify their karmas in this birth for better births ahead?
My answer is very simple and straightforward. The theory of karma is the biggest scandal known to the history of mankind. And Madam Meeraji referred to that, but I'm calling it a scandal because they wanted people not to revolt. So people were told, Dalits or subaltern, Dalits were told that you must carry the human excreta on your head so that in the next birth you will get to carry the flowers. So you are being punished now for what you have done in the past. And if you want to have a better birth next time, then you better do it dutifully, the awful task that has been assigned to you. This is anti-revolutionary provision that has been made. I don't believe it. I consider it as the biggest scam, and everybody should be. Now, why are the politicians not helping rural youth? They are in their own way, and people like me are also helping in their own way. And not because we want them to have better birth next time. There's no other world we are talking
this time.
Yes.
This world and now. And there, that is where, because they did not want the system to revolt, this kind of very highly intelligent system that was created just to maintain the hegemony of few people who are having that even today in different sorts of way, as the numbers show.
I'm glad you called it a scandal. I'm sure that will make news for sure. Dr. Jadhav. Professor Paranjpe, do you want to take this thought a little ahead? And then I'll also take 30 seconds from Guru and Sudarshan.
Yeah, I think that these ideas are very deeply entrenched, but you can look at it like that it's a scandal. But karma also means that your future is in your hands. Forget the past. It really is a theory of action and reaction. And yeah, from a certain point of view, it's a real scandal and a scam. But from a deeper point of view, it also means that, you can't get away from the consequences of your actions. So if it's the upper castes, let's say, who have created the scam, then they will have to pay for it too. And it's a process of endless transmission of energy. If you look at the entire universe as an energy exchange. But again, as if you use some of these ideas to justify the status quo, I would also say no, it won't do. If you use the ideas as Vivekananda did to challenge the status quo, which he did, he said, yeah, karma means you'll be tomorrow what you're doing today, and so on. But, I want to come back to the book. I think Soirabai's inclusion is very important. By the way, I must tell you, there's a book called Women Saints, East and West, which includes her, Sir John Stuart Wallace. So this is not the first time. But the point I'm really trying to make is that there are some very interesting figures, for example, Jyotiba Phule, okay? I think his wife is in this book. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is a great thing you've done to bring in the women. I think this is very, very important. So I congratulate you on that. But in the South, you look at Periya Puran, there are so many figures from the sections of society which were depressed. Kanappan, who offered his eye, Nandanar you mentioned. But, if you open this up, you'll find that the mainstream narrative is completely wrong. Indian history has been participatory in ways that we haven't understood. It has been exclusionary also. Let's not say everything was wonderful. And I think that this book, I go back to what Maria said, is an outcome of friendship. And we talk about liberty, equality. We don't talk enough about fraternity.
Yeah.
The fraternal bond between Sudarshan and Guru that has brought this book about.
Yes, Professor Paramveer, there's a very interesting thought that is coming, and that takes me to the next question, Deepa Mishra.
I just want to say one thing. Look at this photo of them at the back.
Yes.
I love this picture. I love this picture. What I'm trying to say is we expect the new generation to come up with positive Dalitism. Let's get together, let's work together. Let's make this country great. And let's not have divisive narratives, okay? We've had enough of that. I was in JNU. I got sick of it. I wanted to puke. I heard it day in and day out, how bad we are, how wicked we are. I want to just say one thing, go to the Brihadishwara temple, 10th century. You can't build a temple like this without every section of society participating. Every section participates. So once again, every section should participate to make India great.
Okay.
Let's have okay.
Yes, Guru Paswan and both of you, Sudarshan, this is the question, and I'm going to begin with you, Sudarshan. There's a question coming from Deepa Mishra, and she's saying, as the Dalit literature rewrites history to address the community and not individuality, to deal with issues of resistance and not passivity, and about progress and not backwardness. So my question is, can Dalit literature be written only by Dalits?
I don't think so, because in our introduction,
Mari, sorry to interrupt. Can I take your leave, please?
Dr. Jadhav, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And all the best, Guru and both authors. Congratulations and wish you all the very best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Just to quickly on this, we have detailed in the introduction the contribution of the Maharashtra Dalit Sahitya Sangh. When we speak about the importance of Dalit literature and Dalit, they defined Dalit literature as literature written by the Dalits as well as non-Dalits on Dalits. This was one of the foremost literary sections of the Dalits. Taking inspiration from that, I think the future is that those from every community should take the initiative to write on subaltern literature. We need to bring back focus on that. And therefore, answering your question in short, I don't think it should be just restricted to just one community. There has to be combinations like this where we have both come together to write this. There could be several other combinations that can be explored as well.
Guru?
No, like I said, it's because of the brickbats generation of Dr. Jadhav has received. My generation is receiving the bouquet. So we'll be fooling ourselves when we say that there is no confrontation and there is no exclusion. It's there. But at the same time, there are also stories of spiritual integration. Baba Sahib himself had immense faith in spirituality, in religion. So this is something which is just a product of that. But yes, we look forward to spreading the message. And obviously, thank you so much for the organizers and to you, Maria, for taking out the time.
We have more questions.
Today is one day.
Guru, there are more questions.
15
Wait.
questions.
We'll do a thank you later. There are more questions first. There is a question coming from Srinivas. Professor Pranjpi, I'm coming to you. Let me just take these two questions and I'm coming back to you, sir. How can we ensure the books like this have a wider audience? In the normal course of things, they get stereotyped and only a few people read them. Guru?
No, like I said, the book is not supposed to be for one community or for one institution. The book is supposed to be read by all. I mean, the fact that we have come together, and you would also have seen that across the region, so there is regional diversity, there is gender diversity. I mean, obviously from the Northeast, you are not able to find a lot of icons. Northeast is an area where we need to focus, but obviously the language is so comprehensible, the articulation is so conveying that anyone, and in fact, my mother the other day, she made this comment that the English is so comprehensible. But Maria, we understand that, like Meeraji left, Narendra Jadhav ji left, 14th April is one such day when Dalit intellectuals are in demand. Otherwise, it does not happen every
Just
year.
to answer that question, we want this book to be not just read by the Dalit leadership and Dalit intellectuals. We want this book, as India steps into 75 years of her independence, we want everybody to take to this book. And that we have made it amply clear. COVID permitting, we want to travel to almost important cities in India, take it to universities, take it to colleges. Yes, today we are doing, the only regret today is not being able to have this discussion on site in person, but we want to go to Shimla where professor is there. We want to go to Madurai where there is a lot of resonance for topics like this. We want to go to a Bihar. So we want to hit the ground running, COVID permitting, and ensure that this book gets a wider audience, especially amongst the youth.
Last question, and this is from an anonymous attendee. Guru, take this question again. The author talked about not getting chances, but we also find the very same who have arrived, this is within quotes, who have arrived exploiting their Dalit status unendingly for their own selfish benefit, not for the upliftment of their community. Guru, if you can hear me.
I can take it. The connection was unstable, but let me take the question. We also find the very same who have arrived exploiting their Dalit status unendingly for their own selfish benefit. So I keep saying this, Maria, that the only people who say that I don't believe in caste, they come from the forward class community. I have never heard a backward class person or a Dalit say that I don't believe in caste. In Hindi, it's saying the shikari keh rahe hain ki shikar nahi ho raha hai. So the day a Dalit boy or a Dalit girl, a Dalit man says that I don't believe in caste, that day I will believe that casteism is disappearing.
All right, we have really come to the end of this discussion, and Professor Pranjpi, you exactly have 20 seconds to make your point.
Really?
No, that's okay. I think I'm very happy to participate. I want to say that I'm looking to a new generation of leadership, intellectual, political, economic, from the Dalit community and from other communities. And also, you know, from so-called minority communities, Maria, people like you, we look to you. We look to you to take this country forward in a positive way. And I'm all for many voices coming up like this. And congratulations to the two authors. Thank you to all. Thank you to the Prabha Khaitan Foundation. And that's it. I have more things to say, but we're
Yes,
out.
I can see Archana now. Before a thank you, there'll be a video that will be played. Over to you, Archana.
Thank you very much for this absolutely super interesting and gripping session. And on behalf of the foundation, I would like to thank the authors Sudarshan Rambhadran, Guru Prakash Paswan, and the panelists Meera Kumarji, Narendra Jadhav, Markand Paranjpeji.
Makarand, not Markand. Makarand.
Makarand. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
No, which means nectar, which means honey.
Well, you spoke like honey. Thank you so much. And
That's made it up to
Maria, of
Professor.
course, you were super good.
Yes, yes.
I would also like to thank our presenters, Shree Cement Limited, our associate publishers, Penguin Random House, and last but not the least, our audience for their everlasting support.
Yes, congratulations, Guru and Sudarshan, to many makers and change makers of the country. And so, so proud of your work, Guru. So, so proud of you. Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you, and be careful. COVID times are around. So continue to wear masks. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Maria.
much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Makanji.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.